And if people want to see some examples of some of that work, they can go to, is it Munker
It's munkerassociates.com.
munkerassociates.com.
Right, and our portfolio's got all sorts of neat examples of things.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about Facebook, because we only have a few minutes left, but Facebook was originally developed as a social networking site for college students, is that correct?
That's correct, and they've recently opened it up for anyone, and a lot of businesses are going onto Facebook.
And how are they using it?
They're using it in very much the same way. They're presenting themselves in the form of a business. I was actually on there just the other day, and I was looking at some, what will be competitors to what it is we're doing for our clients, and I still feel like business hasn't gotten it yet. What they're doing is they're taking marketing stuff and they're creating a profile on Facebook, and I think they're really missing the mark. I think what they're not doing is establishing a very close personal dialogue with the people who want to see what it is they're all about. And so some companies are getting it, most I think still aren't, but they're using Facebook.
And now, since people are using these different mediums, like YouTube and blogging and podcasting, this is actually creating new types of jobs in companies for people. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It is. They're all marketing focused, and
they're fun.
Well, they can be. They can be. But here's another challenge that these companies face that go and do this. They hire on staff who don't understand the culture and don't understand the techniques, and they're relatively low-level marketing people, and they put them in charge of running social networking, and they're creating content which is neither genuine nor, it's not real, it's not accurate, it's everything it shouldn't be. It's exactly how a company goes out and posts marketing material on Facebook. It's just, they're not quite getting it. They're confused that, they're confusing the technology with the technique, right? The technology is now widely available. It's no longer just that you're doing it that makes it valuable. You have to be doing it in a way that resonates with the audience. And to do that, you have to step back, you have to think about your brand and your communication and how that is in any way important to the person who's actually listening to it. Because they don't really care what you do. They care about other things, and you need to be in touch with what those are. So when companies get that and then can present that through these social mediums, then they begin to see something happen.
And they can also measure these things in such a different way, because they're, you can check clicks, and you can see how long they listened to something before they clicked away. You can just measure things so much better than just placing an ad in an advertisement 10 years ago and really not knowing what the impact is. I mean, everything's encoded, things are put in different areas on the internet, and they're split testing, and just to see how these things work and really who's going after them. Can you speak a little more about another avenue that a business can use besides YouTube and Facebook? What's something else that they can use that's relatively low cost or free out there in terms of social media?
So the cornerstone of all of these is blogging.
Blogging.
And I really recommend that clients do that. There's so many different reasons too, from search engine optimization to communication, to it can tie into email and electronic campaigns. I really recommend that they decide what their agenda is and just begin blogging. And it's the easiest, least expensive way to really dive into social media. It's very easy to get going. It does require some thought at the higher end of the company, because I need the visionaries being the bloggers, or at least driving the content.
And we find it all in advance.
Right, and we find that we're installing a lot of blogs in a lot of different sites, and it's not an expensive thing to do.
And you have a blog at your site too, so people can see exactly what you're doing with it to talk about your company.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're using all the technology. By any chance, does your firm have a video on YouTube?
You know what? I do have a couple of videos on YouTube,
okay.
and in fact, our new our website, which will be out before the end of this year, so within the next couple of weeks, is a massive incorporation of video content onto our site itself. So
great.
We're going to really take this from, I would call it a more casual use of ours. We believe it's the future, where video and internet converge, and it will be a huge theme for us as well.
And what's nice is people can come to your site and see how you do all these things because you're doing it yourself.
Absolutely, with no limits.
Right, and that's important, that when people are looking for partners in business and looking for vendors to do business with, you want to make sure that they're actually doing what they say they're going to help you with.
Absolutely.
That you want to make sure that they're experienced.
Yes, this shoemaker's child will have shoes. Yeah.
Here's a really big question. We have a few minutes left. I want to know, and I ask this of everybody, but where do you think it's going after this? What's possible next? Is it telepathy? I mean, what's going to go? What are they going to do with how are we going to get our brands out? I mean, what else is there to do besides literally knock on somebody's door and have a personal conversation with the CEO?
Right. Okay. Actually, I have an opinion on that. All right. So here's the progression that I think will take place. I think we're in the middle of the convergence of internet and video. I think that those two will come together. When they have come together and everyone is really comfortable with how that works, interactivity will be introduced into that mix, and so it will no longer be just a video experience, but it will be an interactive video experience.
Like, let's take a poll. How do you really feel about this?
Yeah, really, no, I'm very specific about that, and we're really gearing up to be prepared to do that for our clients, and once that interactivity takes place, it will spin out into experiential marketing venues. And you're going to see this very highly tactile, interactive, real experience in all these different mediums playing out. And the companies that can nail that first, I think, are going to just take off.
As these changes have come about, have you had to add more technical people to your firm? I mean, are you hiring different ways than you were like a year or two ago?
You know what? We hire in a really unique way. We're looking for people who understand lots of different things. I want communicators that are designers, that are programmers. Anytime I get a person with a unidimensional skill set,
right.
They can't help us in our business. You need to be able to understand a couple of things. So we're still hiring people, and the technology changes so quickly that there's almost no amount of training that can get you ready for this. You have to learn it as you do it. So,
and you have to constantly be doing it.
It changes.
You're hiring like people who are learners,
That's right.
Continual learners.
It's a mindset, and they come with a basic skill set, and we turn them into what it is we need to do this job.
I mean, that to me is just such a cutting edge when it comes to a firm like yours, because it's so unique. You don't have just somebody who does marketing. These people know how to use the technologies. They know the terminology. When you're working with a client, does everybody kind of get involved, or do you have like teams that are dedicated just to one client, or is everybody working across multiple clients? How does that all work?
We divide our clients up by team lead, and our team leaders to be a team leader at our firm, you have to be able to understand marketing, strategy, internet, print, advertising, video, and interactive programming. Basically, you have to understand how to do all the things that we do, so that you can advise a client as a consultant on how to integrate those things, and then you would work with people that had crossover sets of those skills on your team. So we have.
You've got some top people.
Yeah, we have 3 team leads at our place, and we use those people to to manage different clients.
So as we get to wrapping up, what are your final thoughts on branding, and I mean, what really excites you about this, and what are you ready to do next with your company?
What excites me about branding?
Just everything. It's all fun.
Yeah, it is really fun. I'm trying to think. I really feel the key to, we talk a lot about technology, and that's what people are really excited about, and I want to encourage people to think it used to be enough to just be a part of the technology, and it's really not, and it's coming back to fundamental communication skills, and that's what branding is all about. So it's no longer that you can use these mediums, it now is that you have to use these mediums to get across a really effective communication, and that's your brand. And so, so we're excited to be a part of branding, because we think it's the cornerstone of all of this. It's where it begins.
It's the foundation.
Yeah.
And I've really learned that myself about branding. I mean, without it, you just don't have anything.
That's what we believe.
Or you're going to be going in other directions, wasting your resources.
Right.
But anyway, thank you so much for another wonderful program talking to us about branding, and we'll have you back on again and continue this discussion as it evolves, as your firm evolves, and as technology evolves. So thank you again, David Monker.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. If you'd like more information about Michigan Entrepreneur, please visit our website at www.michiganentrepreneurtv.com. Please join us again in the future when I interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.